We are Domstad Italo Squad. We're three friends playing and collecting electronic music. We have a particular interest in Italo disco, but also house, new beat, Chicago house and other styles. Anything related to Italo disco basically. We also own a club night which is called Bottega here in Echo in Utrecht. And we have 2 radio shows we curate, and that is in Rotterdam, Operator, and of course in our hometown Utrecht, Stranded FM, which is called Technological World. My name is Koen. I'm 30 years old, live near Utrecht with my girlfriend and daughter. I like music from a very early age, but really started practicing it during my studies. First hosting house and techno parties, and later on as a DJ. Started in small bars, but later on also in bigger venues. And that's also where I met Jesse and Nils.
Okay, so I'm Nils, I'm 28 years old. I'm the youngest of the 3. I actually was born in Rotterdam, moved to Utrecht 10 years ago for my studies. I remember that the first time I really got interested in music was when I was 14 years old, going to a nightclub, which I was way too young for. And I remember that night the only thing I was doing was just looking at the DJ, seeing what he was doing, and after that night I just figured that this is what I want to do. So I started playing at school parties as almost everybody of my age at the time. Later on I became a resident DJ at a students club in Rotterdam, and when I moved to Utrecht after some time I also met Koen and Jesse in a small bar where Koen hosted his parties. I think the rest is history.
So hi, I'm Jesse, 31 years old, communications manager by day, DJ with these guys at night. I was into contact with music at quite an early age, I would say. My father played several bands, and the family was quite busy with it. After some time my uncle introduced me to some techniques and showed me the ropes, and from then on I guess the DJ virus really got kicking in. DJ'd for a while, then stopped for a little bit, and then when I met Koen and Nils sometime later in Utrecht, I picked it up again, and I'd say that's about late 2016 we started playing some music again, DJing, and afterwards we started the squad. So
I think 5-6 years ago, when we still were studying, I hosted a alternative music / house night in a small bar in Utrecht called Gras van de Buren. It was very low key, and I think the DJ booth was built on a movable fireplace where usually the cat in the bar would sit on, and was very angry when we started moving it. Then when we placed the fireplace, we rented Technics with the local music store, put it on, and with a couple of friends we would just play the music we really liked, and the music we would really much like to listen to and let listen by the others. So it wasn't even about a serious gig, but just listening to music and having a great time with friends.
I think also after some time we found ourselves playing each night, ending the night with Italo disco, and this became kind of a thing between the 3 of us. Every night again you would try to surprise the other one with your most wicked Italo disco find.
yeah.
And that would build this kind of competition between the 3 of us. Each time trying to dig deeper and deeper, finding this more crazy tune that nobody heard of. And at some point we discussed that we need to do something with this, because we don't really see the sound in Utrecht. And so we thought, why not do it ourselves? Why not start ourselves this concept where we can just play Italo disco music and spread the love that we found for that music.
at some point we got asked by some bigger venues to play, and that's when we were still playing under the names of Jesse, Nils, and Koen, and that wasn't a very sexy stage name, as you can imagine. So we got asked to play on an international surf festival in France. And that's when we came up with the name Domstad Italo Squad. First just for laughs, but it stuck and it's still there.
Yeah, we decided to roll with it. It's quite catchy, you know. So that was fun. And our first thing after that, I think our first gig was in New Year's Eve, I think, here in Utrecht.
So
official. Yeah, nice.
Yeah, it was a Miami Vice themed night. And it was way over the top, and everybody was wearing shirts with big collars, and then I think it was the icing sugar you have on pancakes they used to resemble cocaine in the 80s.
Yeah, super fun night.
Yeah. And after that, I think things hit off pretty smoothly, actually. I think Tivoli came quite rapidly after that in January. We set up our own email account, which we then forgot to check. So we had some booking requests, which we simply missed.
Getting used to being a professional, professional group. Yeah.
And after that things hit off. I think we always said we're just gonna stick to the DJing thing. We're not gonna organize parties. We're not gonna do anything on the side because we have to combine this with the day job. And now we have our own club night in Echo. We have 2 radio shows, so you could say that we kind of failed with that ambition.
Keeping it small.
There's multiple ways you can look at Italo disco. If you just look at the old 1980s sound, there's a lot of guys who play this sound, and I think even though it's maybe the most popular form of Italo disco, it's also quite niche. So we also try to combine this with more modern sounds, but also with, for instance, related music such as Chicago House, which was largely influenced by Italo disco, more housey stuff, new beat, also electro, and that way you can maybe present a more interesting formula of different kinds of music, with Italo disco being the main ingredient, while also keeping it interesting for those who are not that much familiar with or interested in Italo disco.
It's like Nils. It's like Nils said earlier. You know, there's a lot of electronic genres that closely resemble elements from Italo disco, and also in modern music and modern electronic genres. And those are, we try to combine those a little bit in our sets to create a sound that is, a bit unique to the rest of the electronic genres that they're into, you know.
I think it also depends on where you play. I mean, if we play in Amsterdam, we cannot play a full-on 80s Italo disco set because people would just leave within 3 songs. So there you really try to come up with a more approachable sound, which also incorporates modern music, while also not forgetting about the old 80s sound that we would like to spread out. But you need to present it in a more subtle way. If you play in Nijmegen, where you have a pretty neat Italo disco scene, we can play Italo disco records from the 80s all night without people leaving, and that's a big difference, I think, if you look at the situation in Amsterdam.
Yeah, I think when we play, I think we really succeed when we surprise the real Italo heads who really know their stuff, but also present a sound which is actual enough for people who are more looking for a recognizable sound. And when we succeed in both, then it really turns a smile on my face.
I mean, in the end, we just want to spread our enthusiasm for this sound. That's what it's all about, actually. So the funny thing is we really never had the ambition to organize parties, as we said. But fast forward now, and we have had 3 very successful editions of Bottega, our own party in Echo. With this party we try to spread our enthusiasm for Italo disco, and what we try to do is to come up with a concept that is attractive to both the real Italo heads as well as people we want to attract to the sound. So what we actually try to do is come up with a program which is maybe not fully Italo disco, but touches upon the genre while also incorporating other genres, thereby making it also attractive for people who are maybe new to this music.
Yeah, definitely not only play the classics, but also try to be a bit more diverse in the electronic offerings that we do during the night.
While discovering our music, we came in touch with a lot of artists, not only playing their records but also speaking to them, and often they were not even booked yet in Utrecht, and that presented a real chance to invite them, get to know them, and also see how their music would work when they would play live, for example. So we've asked Mr. Pauli, which is really known about his West Coast sound in the Italo scene. We asked him to play a live set, and that was great. And also we've asked Paula Tape, who also uses in Italo sound in her sets, and also new beat and other genres related to the Italo sound.
And then we also invited Marsman and our friends from Utrecht Shameless for a combined night. And I think after that we started moving towards a program with one main artist and ourselves around it.
So the second edition we had Loud E, which is not really an Italo disco DJ. And I think the first thing he said when you called him up was like, "But I don't play Italo disco." And you said, "Yeah, I don't care. I want you to play at our party because you're awesome."
Yeah.
And of course he also had Arne, Cinema Royale. And that's when we switched to one headliner and us around it as opening and or closing.
Yeah,
so
true.
Then we went to Mr. Pauli live. Which was, I think, by far the coolest live set I've ever seen in Echo.
Yeah, for sure.
And
definitely.
So for the last edition, we had Budino from Italy, who lives in Berlin now. But unfortunately, this party was postponed because we all know why. It fell on the day that the restrictions went into force, so it was pretty sour for us. But it's still the first edition that's on the agenda for when this whole thing is over.
Bottega is in Echo in Utrecht. It's in a very old building near the canals, and it's like a boutique club where I think 350 people would fit in, and it's very cozy, and it's a nice place for people to play their music and really get in touch with the crowd as well. And I think Echo succeeds, very good at that.
I think it really takes an important position in the Utrecht nightlife, because it often serves as a stepping stone for artists who just are not yet big enough to play the really massive venues, but still deserve a proper club or a proper crowd. And I think that's also the charm of Echo, because their program is really nice, a lot of talent, a lot of young people who often use this as a stepping stone for bigger venues and bigger parties later on.
So about our show on Stranded FM here in Utrecht. It's one of two shows we do at the moment. It's called Technological World. And it really presents us with an opportunity to play records that we love but don't get to play very often. So tracks that might be better suited for a real listening session rather than dancing to it in a club.
So a real favorite track of mine is Technological World. This is also why we chose it to be the name of our Stranded FM radio show. Technological World is it's a track about, it's a track about the future, where people are only looking at video and not really experiencing culture anymore and being passionate about stuff. So we thought it was a very powerful message, and we put that on our radio show. So we're really passionate about playing electronic music, collecting it, and share it together with all our friends we made over the years. So I think our first goal would be to also our international friends, just meet them in Barcelona or in Denmark, in Italy, and just have a great time and share music.
I think we're really eager to continue with our own Bottega party, and just to make it really one of the go-to parties in Utrecht, and perhaps also in other cities.
Thank you for watching and listening to Domstad Italo Squad. We hope to see you in the near future. In the meantime, please hit us up on all our socials, so that's Instagram, Facebook, SoundCloud. We have everything.